Hello, I'm Ed Carney. I'm Apple Valley Chamber President. I'm here on behalf of the Chamber Coalition of Dakota County Chambers, and that's the chambers of Apple Valley, Burnsville, Lakeville, Hastings, and River Heights Chambers. And this is Scott Kadrlik. He is a co-owner of a very large CPA firm here in the Twin Cities, and he's gracious enough to make sense a little bit of this, what's going on at the Capitol. Right now, we've got the current proposed budget with the governor, and things are rushing through right now. But could you talk about the $15 billion biennium budget and then the increase? I think it's like $18 billion or something like that on that. And then also we want to get right into the nuts and bolts of where is this going to be paid for, not just, the revenue left over, but we got a capital gains tax being proposed.
The 2-year biennium budget, the previous budget was $52 billion. The current proposal by the governor is to take the surplus that was created during that $52 billion budget period and actually spend it as part of a new budget for the next 2-year period. So we're taking a $52 billion budget, increasing it by 35% and spending those dollars. Of that $17.5 billion increase, only about $1.5 billion of it is going to be a one-time expenditure. Everything else is going to be recurring, which means our budget is going to be jumping to $68 billion. We now have to fund $68 billion.
That's a dramatic increase. With this gift of $17.5 billion, that's almost like someone getting an inheritance and spending it all in the first 6 months.
It's a way of looking at it, and I think we've got to be wise with how we spend those dollars. We've got high inflation right now. We've got the talk of a recession. We have high interest rates coming in, and every taxpayer in the state of Minnesota is affected by this. Every business owner is affected by this. We've got family medical leave issues, and those things are adding to the cost of an operating a business. We've got to do everything as a chamber member to talk about this with our legislators to fix the problem.
On top of all those other things being proposed that you just mentioned, the paid family leave and whether Social Security and et cetera, could you get really into the capital gains? What is the capital gains? And it's both federal and it's state that we're proposing here, right?
What's happening when we talk about the increase in budget, we got to figure out how to pay for it. And one of the proposals that the governor has thrown out is that we would tax additional capital gains at a higher rate than currently being taxed in Minnesota. The top Minnesota tax bracket is 9.85%.
For state.
For the state of Minnesota. The federal government has a 15% bracket as well as a 20% capital gains bracket. On top of that, they have a net investment income tax of another 3.8%.
Well, you end up around 40%.
We could get somewhere between 35 and 40% on our capital gains here in the state of Minnesota if we don't protect and let the governor know that that's not acceptable. Those are additional taxes that come out of the small business owner that sells his gas station in town, the farmer that sells the family farm and farm the land.
So it's not just the rich corporations here, it's the everyday person that's just looking to sell, and they worked hard for that.
It's the people of Minnesota that own businesses that are operated here, that own real estate that is operated here. If I am an executive with a large stock portfolio and I want to save capital gains tax, I'm going to move to a state that has no state income tax. If I can save 9, 10, 13% on my capital gain, I'm going to move it to wherever I can.
You're a very large CPA firm. I've been many times to your place. And are people actually moving out of state?
I get a call a week from my clients that are looking at moving to a state and trying to determine, can I get there? Can I move to a state that has lower state tax, and will that benefit my family?
Wow, and that's just your client list. What about all the other CPAs?
Everybody else,
you start adding those up. Those are real numbers, and those are big sums of money. Well, at the Capitol, what should everybody do? It's May 22nd, the end of the session, but because it's basically a trifecta with in this case, this year it's the DFL that has the legislature, what they call the trifecta. And what should they do? What action should they take?
Well,
that can make a difference?
the good thing is we still have time. This is a proposed budget. We need to get in front of our legislators, let them know what we like and don't like in this budget proposal. Are we spending every dollar of our past and now not have anything for our future? And yes, it'd be great to say, hey, the next few, we got economists working on what the next few years are going to look like. But as a taxpayer, I want to make sure that we don't have a significant increase in the next couple of years because I see it every day in my business.
All right, and then not just contact your own legislators, but us chambers collectively with the Minnesota Chamber just met with Senator Mark Johnson last month, for example, and he's the minority leader in the Senate, and reach out to both parties. I mean, don't just stay in your district. Really, the legislator, the Speaker of the House, the head of the Senate. I mean, we have to reach out to everybody here, right? They will listen to a business out there long before anybody else. They want real examples of how it's actually impacting you.
Yes, absolutely.
Thank you very much. We really appreciate your
Thanks,
being
Ed.
here.
I appreciate
Thank you.
coming.
Yeah.